Claudio Polisseni.
Fern Watson.
Emilio Pisanti.
Matt Pusey.
And I'm on the
CDT.
In Control Quantum Dynamics.
So for someone like me with my background who'd had a big gap from leaving university to wanting to start a PhD, it was really perfect to kind of get me back into the field and understanding what the most recent developments were.
So how the first year works is you start in October and then you have 6 months of lectures, and then in January, February time a list of projects gets released and you have a 6-month period where you get to trial the project.
And if you don't like it, then you can say like, yeah, look, this isn't working, let's try something else.
The DTC, when you apply, there's absolutely no requirement to have a supervisor in mind. You quite often have 2 supervisors, usually one from Imperial and one at another institution.
Of those projects, about 40% or like even half is based in another university, or there is a collaborator from another university.
Quite a few of us have gone to other institutions, so one person in my year has gone to Sussex, one to Bristol, one to Manchester and one to Leeds.
I work a lot with the Max Born Institute in Berlin. My supervisor is partly there, partly at Imperial.
There isn't sort of 2 separate tracks in the course or anything like that. You have a certain amount of choice, but the idea is that everyone is given a background in both theory and experiment. And in fact, there were a couple of people in my year who hadn't even decided whether they were theorists or experimentalists when they started the course.
I mean, it helps you when you read literature, so you can pick up a paper on something completely different and you have some basis of what other people are talking about. And as well, going to lectures and talks, you have background in that, so it just helps you get an overall view of the area.
That is one thing I really like about the field I'm in too. There's a very heavy and very frequent transfer of information and ideas between theory and experiment.
Yeah, well, I'm an experimental physicist, but I don't usually like stay in the lab from 9 till 5 or like from 10 till 6 or like even like 7 times. I spend a lot of time in the office actually, like doing some calculations, some simulations, and all the the theory bit that they teach you in the course comes into play.
As part of the courses, there was an outreach course.
You get to think about how to communicate the experiments that you do in the lab to the general public. So, for example, this year I built this banana piano.
So we did a magic show in the first year, so we had to each individually make a magic trick and then write something about it to do with quantum mechanics.
That's really helped me in terms of speaking in public, so we had to give a talk in front of 300 people, which was really difficult, but you do it and, and once you have experience in it, you realise it's not that bad.
Most recently I went to Ghana with the Lightyear Foundation, teaching that science can be practical and fun and interesting, and something that's really worth doing when you grow up.
On the CDT, you don't need to worry about money because it's all paid for.
We know that we have a big pot of money and we're able to go to any conferences that we want, really.
In terms of PhDs, we get paid every month, which is really great. Not many people get that. As well as that, you get a free laptop, you get looked after. We also have budgets for things like for our well-being. So we have budgets for cohort lunch every week. We cook each other a lunch, and that's a really nice thing to do.
One of the best parts of the PhD, I'm gonna have to go with the cohort community we've built up during the Masters. It really fosters a really fluid flow of physics. I guess we don't really appreciate that very often, how lucky we are that it is not a competitive environment.
The opportunities and the things that it teaches you, the way that it teaches you to think and the way that it teaches you to interact with people, it's a fantastic place to be. It's fantastic.